black room boy. You're a black room boy. You're a black room boy. You're a black room boy.
Hello and welcome everyone to round 7 of Star Mazda Australian Championship. We are live for you tonight from Indianapolis Motor Speedway. We were here last week, and this week we are back to run the oval course. With me in the commentary box, as always, is Andrew Gaines. Andrew, how are you this evening?
Yeah, great. Thanks, Trent. It's really good to be here. Really excited about this race. As you probably mentioned before, this is the first oval or official oval race that we've had in this series. I think we're going to be in for a fantastic race tonight.
Yeah, I think so. We're probably in for a little bit of a crash fest, but everyone's not used to running on the oval. It's a lot different to most normal races we do. It's very close quarters, pack racing, as we're just getting some live pictures now. Yeah, it's going to rely on a lot of skill and patience from a lot of these guys to try and get around this course without running into each other.
Yeah, that's right. It's a whole different skill level. It's a whole set of different skills from a road racer to an oval racer. Got to have a lot of trust in the cars around you. I see the problem. I've done a little bit of practice on Monday night, and I was in with some of the guys, and a couple of guys are having some issues holding their lines around the track. You've really got to concentrate on holding those lines, because even the smallest variation or a small twitch, people overreact to that, and then they swerve, and it just creates a whole concertina effect with cars everywhere. So it's going to be really interesting to find out how this race goes.
And that's the thing too, because it is oval racing, like normal road racing, you tend to sort of start on the outside, move to the inside of the corner and drift back out to the outside again. But on ovals, you sort of need to keep that constant radius around the course. Otherwise, you can potentially, a lot of the oval races, they talk about lanes, and pretty much once you're in a lane, you're sort of expected to sort of stay in that lane through the corner. No drifting up, no cutting down, that sort of stuff. So it's going to rely on a lot of patience and skill, and just trying to get through there. It's a 25 lap race we have here today. We have which is 100 kilometers, so it's a normal length SMAC race that we usually do. I'm missing the track graphic here, but obviously it's an oval. Conditions today, mostly cloudy skies, so it's keeping a little bit of sun off the track. We've got a wind speed of 3 kilometers an hour, and humidity is 35, so track temperature is 26 degrees with an air temp of 20, so it's a pretty cool day out there. With those mostly cloudy, it's keeping the track temperatures down to 26, so should be fairly grippy. The setup on the cars that the guys are running, you'll find are actually, it's pretty stable anyway. It's a very stable set, so we shouldn't see any slipping and sliding. I think the only real issues we're going to have is that side-by-side contact, and as Andrew touched on before, just drifting out of lanes.
Yeah, it's an iconic track, this one, just over 4 kilometers in length for a single lap. It's got a 9-degree bank, which is really quite low for an oval track, or from a normal American oval track. So it's gonna have some great racing on this. And like you said, it's really close quarters racing. I find that you really have to expect something to happen. You've got to have that awareness about what the driver next to you, the driver behind you, not just your little pack that you're racing in, because one little accident can take out the whole pack behind you as well. So having that awareness and really expecting someone to make a mistake is really going to be key to this race.
Yeah, that's very true. I think we've got 52 cars in the server here tonight, so 52 cars around here. You can imagine that if one of those cars up the front happened to have a bit of a touch-up, there's 50 odd cars behind them that could potentially cause massive accidents. Something a bit unusual for this round as well. We do have safety cars turned on. So there is a big wreck. Safety car should be triggered, and we'll get the field on the check just to sort of, if there is that big crash, trying to make sure that people don't just try and push and go for a Days of Thunder type thing and full throttle and hope for the best. Even though these cars are actually full throttle around this track anyway, there's absolutely no lifting, it's just full throttle. I think the gearing is such that you might need to change between 5th and 6th depending on where you are.
Yeah, another thing to really concentrate on again is the toe, is the draft. You do close in at a high rate of knots, and if that catches you off guard, then you will probably make a sudden movement as you come up to the car in front, and that sudden movement, like I said before, will have a concertina effect on the guys beside you, the guys behind you, and the guys behind them. So it's just another thing that the drivers have to be wary of.
That's it. Hopefully, that's why we've actually extended the warm-up session before the race tonight. They're running a 20-minute session, just to try and get them out there, running in a pack, just trying to get them used to the large field that will be on track today. It'll also be a rolling start, which is unusual for the Series 2. Normally it's a standing start, but a rolling start here, double file rolling start. And if there is a caution, it will be single file restarts. And just in relation to the start rules and the restart rules, on the race start double file, no one can go until the green flag's thrown. So that's everyone goes at once basically. But on the restarts, once the safety car pulls off the track, the leader is in control of the race, and they can go at their will basically. So that's sort of differences between tonight and our normal races.
Yeah, and I can see already that the times are coming down. They're fairly below what was done in practice earlier on in the week. We've got Brent Ryan on a 56. I've never seen a 56 done in the last couple of days. So obviously, when you're drafting in a pack, you actually get a better draft, as in if you're drafting with one car. So we'll see a lot of pack drafting today. But times really don't mean much in a race like this. It's just about keeping it together and keeping it straight.
Yeah, that's true. There is 0.6 of a second between first and second there, so it's obviously draft. Most of the qualifying times here were really, we're talking about thousandths of a second, not tenths or hundreds, but actual thousandths of a second between some of the times. So 0.6 is obviously a big pack draft at the end there. As you said, it's all just about trying to get to the end of this race, get yourself into a position to try and steal that win. Hopefully the guys will have patience. It will go pretty quickly if it is green, which I don't think it will be green, but if it goes green, 25 laps, could potentially over within less than 30 minutes. So if that does happen, it will be our fastest SMAC round to date. And because of the cautions, we've also made it 40-minute time certain event. So it'll be either 25 laps or 40 minutes, whichever one happens to come first.
Coming into this, if I was one of the drivers in the hunt for the championship, I'd be pretty nervous because this track could really hurt your championship hopes. We've had a couple of upsets last week at Motegi. We had a couple of big names fall out with incidents. We also had some of the big names start to move up the ladder from recent absences from some of the races. So the ladder's really switching around at the moment. We've got Nino Natali in first position in the championship at the moment. He's had six starts, but 4 top 10 finishes, so he's been really consistent. We're missing Justin Strickland, which is one of the top drivers tonight. He also had a bad round last week, so he's dropped down the order a bit. So championship at the moment is still wide open. We've still got another 5 rounds after this, but this might be a drop round for a couple of guys, I suggest.
Yeah, it does sort of have that bit of a tone to it. I think the term that they use in the States for this type of racing is a bit of a crapshoot, where it's pretty much full draft, and it's just, I won't say it's just the luckiest person, but it does take a bit of skill to be able to drive these sorts of races. So just make sure you survive and get to the end and get yourself in a position to fight for a good result.
Yeah, absolutely. Like I say, we've got a couple of the stronger drivers coming through the field and coming up the ladder at the moment, so they'll want a clean race just to make up for those points that they've lost on previous rounds, either by not being able to race or having some unfortunate incidences. So those couple of drivers have probably already got their drop rounds in the bag, so they'll really want to make this one count.
Yeah, that's true. There's only 2 for the season, so there's some of the top guys have missed a couple of races already. So it'll be interesting to see how they play this, whether they take a conservative effort, maybe hang at the back, or whether they'll just sort of whether they will push their way to try and get to the front.
Something we haven't really spoken too much about in the standings is the team standings. And at the moment, we've got Team X-Ray. They're in first place on 927 points, with Sunray Racing in second with 896 points. And surprisingly, we've got ERA, Maverick Welding 3, team in third place. I mean, their driving pairing is really strong, and they're coming up the field as we speak. So it'll be a good race to the end, but a couple of surprises there.
It definitely is. I'll see if I can take us through the grid. No, it's not working. There we go. Alright, so Andy Carey's on pole, Ian Ford on second. They were found to exceed track limits during their qualifying runs, and they will be handed a 30-second stop and hold penalty in the pit lane for that infringement. We've got Craig Edwards third, Riley Preston fourth, and Marcelo Rivera fifth. So some regular names that we're seeing up the front there. Gary Hamilton, Mark Rayner, Kurt Stenberg, Paul Tajibara, and Andrew Osiris round out 10. Got David Jellings, Jay Kennedy, Damien Carr, Jake Maloney, and Andrew Kiss. Aaron Farmer, Scott Newton, Matthew Barron, Sam Sutton, TJ Brown, Simon Fiegel, Hayden Dodman, Grant Hines, James Bell, Mitchell McLeod, Brock Creamer, Marcus Wang, Scott Goodman, Ashley Thomas, David Pegler, Joseph Falcamata, Joshua Burden, Martin Silvessi, Stephen Downs, Troy Burgess, Lance Hawes, Dylan Francis, Sean Watts, Amanda Bosher, Sam McLeod, Rodney Dangry, Ben Daly Jr., Phil Gadd, Brenton O'Brien, Igor Trendofilovsky, Rob MacGyver, Scott Connors. Scott Connors, his usual race control tonight. He's having a crack out there. Bradley Matheson, Samuel Lambert, Gary Giorgio, Matt Stratford and Sean Thompson in 52nd as they're coming around the last corner now, and we should see green flag racing. Huge field. And we have green. Cars around first turn. Looks all clean so far. Let's hope this continues.
Yeah, it looks like everyone's given everyone a little bit of room. It'll take a little while for them all to get in their positions and start that drafting. Hopefully there's not too many heroes out the front, but it's all looking pretty clean at this point in time.
4 or 5 wide down this back straight. Wow, I've never seen anything like this, to be honest. This is a huge field.
Great clean racing so far.
Some of these cars are getting a bit close. Hopefully yeah, they just mind themselves and see where they go. It looks like we've got a few early pit stoppers. Or maybe they were the 2 guys that got penalties. There's some sharp movers going around at the moment, so I'll have to watch some of those movers that they're making. They're pretty... Oh, looks like we've got our first off.
Yeah, that's right. There's a lot of swerving going on. I can confirm that Andy Carey is in the pits for his pit lane penalty.
Sorry guys, just trying to find the replay of that incident.
Only takes a caution or a safety car to come out, and anyone that's had an accident can be back in this race. Really quite simple. So that's the good thing about these races is it's not over until it's over.
It looks like, unfortunately, that was Jay Kennedy. I think he got squeezed a bit from the inside there. He's found himself on the wrong end of that. As we head back to live pictures, back up the front, still looking fairly clean. Still pretty much in a pack. They're not in any lines or anything. They're just in a wide pack. It's actually been pretty clean so far. I'm surprised we haven't had a yellow, so it's a testament to all these guys out there that they are showing a bit of patience, but we don't know how that long will last once we start getting towards the latter stages of this race.
This could be the shortest broadcast. We might as well get a bit yappy.
And we have a yellow, we have a safety car.
Great racing, great clean racing so far. Most people, it's been a great start to the race.
I'm not sure what that actual incident was, as I try to find them. Just bear with me, folks. Looks like it might be for Jay Kennedy, who's stuck on the back straight. None of the overlays are actually working. I might need to reset those.
So we've got Sam Sutton in the lead at the moment, followed by Gary Hamilton and Craig Edwards. I did a fair bit of practice with Craig on Monday night, and he's very fast and a very smart racer. So I expect him, if he can keep it clean, to be up there at the end. He might be just sitting behind these guys and just hopefully break away from the rest of the pack. But as you know, with the draft, it's going to be very hard to break away from any pack.
Yeah, sure. Looks like everyone's, or most, yep, everyone's taken this opportunity to come into the pits to do their one compulsory fuel stop that they need to do to be able to get home. They did have 7 litres, of fuel in the cars to get home, so it's a little bit less than normal. And I think the fuel range was actually about 11 or 12 laps from memory. Be interesting to see who comes out on top here. A few people stayed out, not sure if they were a lap down or maybe they were the early pit stoppers who have already completed their pit stops.
Could really work in their favour.
Well, I guess they must have known that the yellow was inevitable eventually, so getting those stops out of the way, yeah, puts them to the front of the queue. However, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 cars, it looks like, at the front of the field who have not pitted. So that's Riley Preston, Marcus Swain, Martin Silvassi, Gary Giorgio and Amanda Boucher. Those 5 drivers have not pitted, so we'll see how these guys go on the restart at the front.
Yeah, speaking of Riley Preston, I know he was away for one of the races just recently, but with a couple of strong finishes, he's actually 3rd in the championship ladder and only 10 points behind first place. So he'll be looking for a strong finish on this one, and that will probably put him in first place in the championship.
Yeah, if he keeps up the front there, I think he did. He's had a couple of wins, I think, and him and teammate Ben Smith were up there pretty much dominating the first few rounds of this championship. So it looks like he's continued his strong form in this round as well. Now, the setup they're using here tonight is actually slightly different from their usual setup. Obviously, with the high speed of this track, they needed something that was a little bit more optimized for running these high speeds. So there is a lot less downforce on these cars, just to be able to increase that top speed a little bit. But yeah, they're still very stable as far as setup goes. But it just allows a higher speed for this oval racing. It looks like we might have lights out on the safety car. We could be green this time by. It'll be interesting to see what happens on the restart here, because they're Riley Preston's right on the back of that safety car. Because they're single file, they might not get a chance to get into that big pack that they were racing in earlier. So yeah, we might see a little while before the guys start forming packs again, and whether or not anyone will work together with someone else and just try and work with the draft rather than trying to fight each other.
Yeah, that's right. It's going to be a really interesting restart. Just looking at car number 44 at the moment, looks like there's a small bit of damage on the front wing on the right-hand side. I'm not sure if that'll have much impact on his performance or his speed, but yes, it's a little bit bent.
Yeah, but you can see how it affects things in this, and looks like Riley's put the foot down and he's gone. Certainly seems to have broken the field up. The top 2 guys have absolutely made a bolt for it.
Yeah, it's going to be very interesting to find out if the pack behind them can actually catch them. They've got a fair bit of lead. Anything 2 seconds and beyond, it's pretty hard to get a draft out of.
Well, there should be obviously more draft. The more cars there are, the stronger the draft is going to be. So we should see the larger packs of cars catching up. As the third place car has obviously caught the back of these front two quite quickly. And I expect the rest of the field should catch them very quickly as well.
Yeah, Mark Rayner, I think that is.
And we've got another yellow. Just going back to see. Whoa, huge accident. And it looks like Gary Giorgio there has just lost it on the grass, and unfortunately we've got an innocent bystander there in Jake Maloney, I think that is, going flying through the air. So definitely unfortunate for Jake there, getting caught up in another car's accident.
Yeah, very hard to avoid something like that.
As we see Jake sitting in the pits there. Not sure if he's had his fast repair or not, but that was a rather short-lived green flag. I thought that it would, once they're spread out, I thought it'd be a little less chance of that caution coming out. So hopefully you get some more green flag racing happening very soon. We're not just stuck behind the safety car for most of this race, because that would be definitely unfortunate. I think most people have been really looking forward to it, and looks like Riley's taking this opportunity to take his pit stop, because as mentioned earlier, he hadn't stopped earlier, so he's coming down. See who else is in the pit lane as well.
Jake Maloney's still in the pits. It doesn't look like he's got a fast repair left. He may have left that ticked when he first went in the pits and maybe had a little tiny bit of wing damage, and that's taken his fast repair because he's sitting in there for a long period of time.
Now, I've actually been caught the opposite way of that, where I didn't have the fast repair ticked, and once you pull into the pits, you can't choose to tick it. That's just the way it is, so I had to sit there and get repairs. I couldn't use my fast repair on the car, which is a definite shame. So it can work either way, fixing not much damage or not having it ticked when you actually need it. Might have a look. What have we got here? So Sam Sutton, he's down in 37th place at the moment. We saw him up the front earlier. I'm not sure if something's happened to him at some point. Looks like he's made a pit stop as well just then.
Yeah, we've got Brock Kremer as well. He's just coming out of the pits after making his pit stop.
Looks like we've got a few pitting there. We've got Sam Sutton, Ben Daly Jr., Rodney Dangry, Joseph Falcamata, Martin Silvassi, Riley Preston, Mitchell McLeod, Josh Burden. I don't know how I missed his name earlier. He's another race controller for us. He's obviously having a race tonight as well. Troy Burgess, Andrew Osiris, Rob MacGyver, and Brock Creamer. Looks like he's pitted as well, as you mentioned.
So Paul Tajavara has been pretty impressive this season. He's currently sitting 4th in the championship standings and only 15 points behind the leader. And that's down to consistency. I mean, he hasn't had any wins. He's had one top 10, one top 5. He's had 6 starts. So it's just about turning up and putting in the laps and finishing races.
Well, it's obviously that new point system is having an effect on consistency and where people end up in the championship. So I think it's definitely opened up the championship to a lot of people this season with those new points, and it's certainly anyone's really in with a shot at this title, as we've seen with the amount of different leaders we've had at different points through the season.
bit early in the season, but who's your money on?
Well, if Riley Preston finishes out the season the way he has been, I can't see anyone really beating him. He has actually, I don't know if he still has, but he does have a pro license, so he's definitely up there as an open wheeler champion. So it's yeah, he would probably be who I'd put my money on at this point. We still have a couple of drivers out there who haven't pitted. Our leader, Marcus Wang, is one of them. And Buscher in third place also has not pitted yet. And David Pegler in 10th. And Igor Trendofilovsky in 11th, also yet to pit. And I think they're the only ones that haven't pitted yet. Gary Hamilton in second place is our effective race leader. He has pitted, and he's in second place at the moment.
Just as the cars go around slowly, it's nice just to take in some of the paint jobs that people have put on these cars. Really quite impressive. There's some really nice designs out there.
Yeah, there's a lot of effort goes into a lot of these paints. And it's not just an easy job. The files that these guys have to work with, it's almost like a jigsaw puzzle. You have to sort of put together, lining up panels and all that sort of stuff. So, yeah, big shout out to all the people that put in the effort to paint cars and take pride in running team colours. Hopefully we'll get some more green flag running here. Again, there's not much of a breakaway at the front this time around. It's a bit more even.
Got Mark Rayner from Team X-Ray. That's the team that he's in. He's currently 5th in the championship. Sorry, 6th in the championship. Only 24 points behind the leader. He's always a strong contender. I think he's had a bit of bad luck in the last couple of races, but he's coming on strong.
I was just trying to find him. I couldn't find him. There he is. He's in 23rd place at the moment. He's involved in a pretty hefty pack down here in 23rd place. Very tight amongst these guys. Hopefully they keep it clean. Still got oh no, there it goes. Spoke too soon. Another caution.
Yeah, just Brock Bremer is just coming out of the pits again, so I'm not too sure what happened to him.
Just see if we can go back and find what happened here between these guys at the front, or in this accident. I might have slow mode it too early, so sorry about that, everybody. We're looking here. I'm pretty sure the accident happened just here. It looks like we've got a Plus Fitness car into the back of Dylan Francis by look, and that sort of pushed him right into Matthew Barron and one of the EMU Racing cars, which was unfortunate at the back there. Looks like Dylan Francis managed to get away with it, and yeah, he sort of fought to live another day, but that Matthew Barron was not fortunate enough to get away with that one.
It's pretty difficult to be the leader as well, thinking, yeah, I can get away from the pack and sort of run my own race and keep out of trouble, but they catch you so quickly, and as soon as they catch you, they've got that bit of draft, they've got that bit of extra speed, so before you know it, you start off at first, you're back in second, maybe they're in third, and then you're in that pack, that vulnerable pack again. So even at this stage of the race, to be in the lead there's no real advantage.
That's right, and from my experience as well, and you probably vouch for this as well, it's not easy fighting your way back through a pack like this. It's because everyone's more or less doing the same speed. You really have to rely on the other driver, just giving you that little bit of extra space that you might need to get a move done. It is quite hard to get through, but towards the end of the race is when you'll see those gaps that people might have been allowing. They suddenly won't be. They'll make it very hard for you to get past. Just looking at Scott Connors here at the moment. He's running a Ferrari livery. That's the other thing that these cars are good for. You can sort of run, there's a lot of Formula One liveries out there, Red Bull, Ferrari, McLarens from different eras. So it's good to see Scott there running that Ferrari paint job. Looks really good on these cars.
Yeah, Scott's he's done well. He hasn't really raced in this series very often. As we know, he's done a lot of race control, and we thank him for that. So to be in 6th place at this point in the race is a really good effort.
It is, and just checking on our other race controller, Josh Burden. He's unfortunately sitting in the pit lane with a very damaged car. So race obviously hasn't gone the way that he would have liked tonight, unfortunately. So yeah, shame for Josh Burden, but shout out to him and Scott and Matt Wilkins. And tonight we have Scott Stevens from JFF in race control. So shout out to Scott for his efforts tonight to allow these other guys to have a run tonight while he's up there in the steward's office keeping an eye on things.
Yeah, big task to put your hand up for this one.
Yeah, I think so. There's 50 odd cars to watch, so that'd be pretty hard to do for a single person to keep an eye on that many cars. Right, up front we have Gary Hamilton currently leading with Hayden Dodman in 2nd place. Craig Edwards in 3rd. Grant Hines up there. He's on for a good result, hopefully. I know he was on the forums saying he was really looking forward to this round, so good to see him having a good race up there in 4th place at the moment. Marcelo Rivera up there in 5th. Scott Connors, we spoke about earlier, in 6th. Scott Newton in 7th. Simon Fiegel in 8th. Damien Carr 9th. And Igor Trendofilovsky in 10th. Igor still has not pitted yet, and David Pegler, who is in 11th place, also has not pitted. So they might be trying to run the gauntlet here and reckon they might be able to get away with not pitting. I don't think they've got enough fuel to do that, to be honest. That was why they only started with 7 litres of fuel, so that wouldn't really be a possibility to try and stretch it home.
Yeah, that'd be really unfortunate because David's shown some really good pace around here. So sitting in 11th, I mean, that's still a really good position to be in. Obviously, that's going to change if he has to pit.
Yeah, and if he has to pit under green, that's going to be even worse for those two guys because they're going to lose upwards of probably 40 odd seconds, and there's only a 60-second lap, sorry. The draft is obviously key here, so yeah, they won't want to lose the pack at all. Safety car lights are out as we come around the final corner, and we should go green this time by.
We've had a couple of rear end.
I just heard a bit of accidents.
I spoke about Paul Tarjavara before. He's currently sitting in 11th spot. I talked about his consistency. He's 4th, I think, in the championship at the moment. These are the kinds of results that you want. I mean, 11th position is still a bag full of points with the new point system.
Yeah, that's true. And that's the thing. I think even no matter where you finish, you're bound to bag a good lot of points. So it's definitely worth. Even if you do have a damaged car, you might not finish on the lead lap or even within 5 laps of the lead lap. But if you get yourself a finish, you might get yourself some good points. As we see, there's an angry pack up the front here. Scott Connors has just moved to the lead. We saw him at 6th place on that restart, so as we're going 5 wide down this front straight. If this is what the last lap is like, it should be a very exciting finish. These guys up here, they're having utmost faith in the guys that they're racing, knowing that they're going to hold the line of where they currently are. So definitely nerve-wracking stuff for those that are in the car. Through the corner, so that's
got an ERA car off and into the wall,
and another caution. Do you know the name of that car at all, Andrew?
not yet. Oh, and another car on its roof. We have Sean Watts that's sitting in the pits. His car is really badly damaged. Obviously, no fast repairs left on that one.
It looks like it might have been Riley Preston caught up in this accident.
Joshua Burden's still in the pits as well with a badly damaged car.
As you see, going back to the replay now, Riley Preston's gone, tried to go underneath someone here, and he's on the grass. Didn't really give each other room there, so racing incident, but yeah, that's put Riley into the wall. It looks like most people managed to avoid him there. That was pretty lucky that he got away with that. If he has a fast repair left, he'll probably drive that down to the pits and get that repair done and back out. But as we see, that's the difference between running at the front of the pack and down the back. Yeah, that's sort of what's happened.
Yeah, we've got car number 6, David Pegler, sitting in the pits for a fair while as well. I can't see any damage on the car, but obviously there is some damage because he's been sitting there for a while. I think this fast repair has caught a lot of people out. I think they've had it ticked, and maybe even, like I said before, the smallest bit of wing damage. They've come in, taken fuel, and they've done a fast repair, not knowing. Gone back out, got in some incidents, had some worse damage, come in the pits, and now they're sitting in there for ages.
Yeah, it's definitely a shame. I know when we first started the series that people used to get caught out by having the tyres option ticked on their pit stops, which ended up giving them about a 20-second pit stop as opposed to the 10 seconds, as was usually about all they needed. So now, yeah, the fast repair can also catch you out. Now that that option is available, that iRacing have added that ability to do.
Yeah, that would have been me with the pit stops. We all know from a team perspective that I'm not exactly fantastic in my pit stops.
That's something, pit stops are one thing that I pour a lot of time into, but then when it comes time to do the pit stop, I second guess myself. So
I pour a lot of time into my pit stops, but for all the wrong reasons.
I'm usually pretty good with my fuel calculations. I've tended to make up a lot of time in pit stops in the past, so touch wood, that continues for any other series I happen to be running in. We've got Igor Trendofilovsky here, sitting currently in 10th place, still has not pitted, so I'm not sure how much time we've actually got left, but there should be 40-minute time certain, but we've got 6 laps to go.
I think we've got about 9 minutes lap times. Riley Preston's back in the race, but he's currently 39 down the back of the pack. Look, still anything can happen, so it's not over yet.
To be honest, we haven't seen the big one. We've only seen the odd cars going off here and there. I'd really be surprised if Igor can get this car home, unless my timing is lying to me and he has actually pitted, which is quite possible. I think I had to reset the overlays at the beginning there, so I might have missed his pit stop.
Someone we haven't talked about tonight is Marcelo. He's currently sitting in 6th position, so he's in a really good position with, maybe 8 minutes to go, 6 laps to go, whatever it is. He's in a really good position, so this will really help him in the championship standings. His biggest rival, I think, was going to be Riley Preston, and that's really taken a big hit to Riley with that recent accident and him sitting back at the end of the field.
Yeah, but as you mentioned, at least he's there, he's running. He will score points, so that's important. It's much better. Potentially you're going to miss 100 points if you get a DNF, so to at least be going around and running at the end of the race is definitely important. As you said, yeah, Marcelo's up there. He's sort of been there or thereabouts. He hasn't really been at the front. I think he's just been careful about what he's doing up the front there, and just sort of tried to stay out of trouble, which seems to be working. And Gary Hamilton, Craig Edwards, they're the other two names that have pretty much been up the front there this whole race. And Grant Hines, he's actually been up there a fair bit during this race too. So, and Scott Connors, he started, it was like 47th, I think he was. So to be up the front, he's obviously kept himself out of trouble as well. So definitely well done to him.
We are not going to hear the end of that.
That's true. Let's. Good luck, Scott. Hope you win. Not. Well, yeah. We'll hopefully we'll get some green flag running to the end of this race. I think we need to see some good racing come to the last few laps.
I think Scott, Craig, Gary going to be the guys to watch. It's going to be a great finish.
Scott has done a fair bit of oval racing in his time, so he's definitely no stranger to this form of racing. And it looks like he's put his foot down. Off we go. He's got a pretty good jump, but obviously that's going to completely change once they come down the back straight. And Gary's already in the draft and trying to get side by side.
Hayden Dodman's been a bit of a dark horse as well. We haven't really said much about him in this race, and he's right up there with the lead pack.
Yes, he is. Technically, he's just taken the lead. Craig Edwards has gone and taken the lead from him. So that's Scott Connors gone from the lead on that lap, and he's back in 4th position at the moment. Going to make it. Oh, there's no. It's done. Yeah, he was going for a closing gap there, so.
Yeah, it looked like he's got a little bit squeezed there with no room.
Yeah, he'll be gutted by that. I know he's usually pretty hard on himself, but yeah, it's unfortunate to see yet another collision up the front.
I feel for you, Scott, but that's really saved us in the commentary box, as in not having to listen to him win. No, that's unfortunate. I mean, I thought we were going to see a real sprint towards the end with the top 4, top 6 people, but another caution out is going to bring the field back together, and I guess still 5 minutes left in this race, so we'll see a couple of laps go green.
Yeah, just looking at a replay now, and yeah, we see Scott sort of moving to the outside there. I don't think Craig really squeezed him, but he was pretty much going for a gap that was always sort of going to close. I think he might have actually got up close to the wall and sort of walked himself actually and moved down into Craig, so that's taken out 2 front runners from the race. We'll see whether or not anyone else got caught up in this accident or whether the field managed to get through. It looks like they did.
Looks like Marcelo's got a small bit of front wing damage. I don't think it's anything to be worried about. It's not going to really affect him, but just a little bit of a bend. It's really unfortunate for Craig to be out. He's shown some amazing pace in practice on Monday night and also in practice today, so he'll be a bit gutted with that.
Yeah, I think so, and I think even though he's missed the first couple of rounds of the season, his results have been pretty good, and he's always been up there in the top 5. So, and we know that with this point system, consistency is key. So he could have been up there. So hopefully he'll get his car back to the pits, get it fixed, back out there and circulating to score some points. Not really used to these yellow sessions during a race. It sort of puts pressure on you to find something to talk about.
Yeah, it does. It does. Well, I can tell you a little bit of interesting stuff I was reading about Indianapolis. It's actually one of the largest sporting events in the world with, I think, a seat capacity of around 250,000. But on obviously some tracks or some events, they can open up the middle of the track for extra seating, and it can sit probably about 400,000 people.
It's an incredible amount of people in one spot for one event when you think about it. And just like to welcome Scott Connors to the commentary box. Scott, you worked your way from the back up to the front there, mate. A bit of an unfortunate accident there for you.
Yeah, I'd like to say my apologies to Craig there. I completely mucked that restart up. When we're going down the back straight, I actually forgot to shift into 6, so massive rookie error there. So that's what basically caused that accident, I would say, that contributed to it, because I forgot to shift up to 6 and try to make my track position up, and I tried to get out of it. Didn't want to go 4 wide there, but tried to get out of it, but it was just too late, and just accidentally got into the back of Craig there, so I ruined him and his and my race. So it's always not the best feeling in the world, but yeah, I'd like to apologise to him.
Have you used up your fast repair already? Will you be getting back out there?
Yeah, nah, I'm done. I actually, after I did my my fast repair, I actually hit the pit wall, so that was not smart. So yeah, it went downhill pretty quick.
I think maybe you should get out there and give yourself a penalty, Scott.
Oh mate, I can do that.
I'm sure Scott, the other Scott in the race control room, will be quite eager to hand you a penalty of some sort, even though you won't really be able to serve it. As we come down the back straight here, it looks like we're going to have a 2-lap dash to the finish. Got Gary Hamilton in first, Hayden Dodman in second, and Marcelo Rivera in third. Grant Hines still up there in 4th place, so he's on for a strong result. And Paul Tajavara, Igor Trendofilovsky, 7th and 8th, and David Jellings back there in 9th place, so he's on for a good result as well tonight. So we'll see how this restart goes as we approach turn 4. Actually, it's a 1-lap dash.
Yeah, it's 1 lap.
Yeah, I need to learn to count, I think.
This will be interesting. This will be crucial for this restart.
Get you an abacus for Christmas there, Hollywood.
Yeah, appreciate that, mate. Thank you. As we go green, Gary's put his foot down. We'll see how. I don't think he wants to be leading at this point, to be honest. I think he would have wanted these guys to be a little bit closer. I think probably the likes of Grant Hines, maybe even Scott Newton, could be in a pretty good position to take this.
I think whoever's further back and they can get a good run, they'll win this race. And the outside is definitely not the way to go.
Yes, we've certainly seen that is the case. It looks like it's a 5-way battle for the win here as we're coming up to turn 3. 2 more turns to go. Oh, almost slight touch there. Hayden Dodman out front. Got Gary Hamilton.
Gary Hamilton coming back.
Oh, there it is.
Scotty Newton out. Oh, massive crash.
That's going to be run to the end. They're going to let it go. There won't be a yellow. Gary Hamilton.
Oh, they've made contact.
Oh, who's this?
Grant's going to get a good run here. He's
Oh,
get it.
he might get it. He might get it. He's done it.
He's done it.
What a finish.
That touch between Gary Hamilton and Hayden Dodman cost them both them the win.
Gary Hamilton in third.
Wow, that was an incredible finish, that one. I think that's our tightest ever finish, that one. Looks like we've got people crashing over the finish line.
Got David Jellings from G&T Racing in fourth. Great result for him. He's had a couple of bad rounds, so congratulations, David. Well done.
That finish was just absolutely nuts.
Looks like Kurt Stenberg ran out of fuel or something. He just stopped on the straight.
Well, he's upside down, so that's probably why he stopped.
Yeah,
Go
I
back.
think he's had a monitor failure.
That would do it.
Go back, see if I can see what's happening. And he's coming down the straight, and yeah, it's almost like maybe he has run out of fuel.
No, because it was so sudden. It wouldn't. If he ran out of fuel, it would have sputtered. So I think.
That's obviously why there was that big crash right at the end there. Massive accident.
Yeah, I'm just looking at some of the big names and some of the places that they've came. I see coming up 26, Marcel Rivera. It doesn't have a position next to his name, so I'm
20th.
wondering 20th.
Across. His car was basically sideways. It was crabbing that bad.
Wow. It's opens up the championship even more for everyone.
It definitely does. Yeah, hopefully, if people didn't have too many instances there towards the back of that, with that crash across the line, hopefully no one got disqualified. We got Jay Kennedy down in the interview room at the moment. I might bring him up and see if he's available for a bit of a chat. G'day, Jay. Welcome to the Slipstream Comedy Box. Commentary box probably is a bit of a comedy, actually.
I wish it was.
Welcome to the commentary box. Probably not the greatest race for you out there tonight.
Disastrous for me. I had a great start to the race and just it wasn't a great 3 laps in. I think the first caution, well, I probably should have brought out a caution with a pretty big crash I was involved in, and it was not much fun after qualifying pretty well. So oval racing's my thing, so pretty disappointed to get taken out the way I was.
Yeah, well, I was a bit surprised that we didn't see a caution there for that early accident as well. Especially some of the other cautions we saw later on were seen to be pretty soft. And saw you trying to struggle to get back to the pits there, and I think you sort of did yourself even more mischief on the way back, which was unfortunate.
Yeah, I ended up blowing it up when I actually finally got into pit lane. It was just pretty hard to drive. It was good fun. I think it really showed a lot of guys that have never done oval racing before how tough oval racing actually is, and it's a lot more tougher than what people give credit to.
Oh, that's exactly right. It's more than just turning left. You've actually, especially this style of racing, it's pack racing. It's just full on. You really got to have a lot of spatial awareness about you and where other cars are. So it's I found it quite stressful and thrilling, but you really do have to rely on the guys around you to be racing cleanly.
Yeah, exactly. And I think the sad thing is, I think we've worked out that a lot of guys, you can't rely on a lot of guys, unfortunately, because I'll just throw it up inside and dive view it and try and take the team because it's important, because they've been rather missions. Fairly racing laps seem long, but a fair race. Pretty disappointed.
Yeah, I think you might have been breaking up a little bit there, mate. Andrew, did you have any questions that you might want to ask Jay?
Look, I think I was just going to sort of comment on what Joe was talking about, and I think, the oval racing obviously is a totally different story. We saw a lot of good road races in this race, and I was doing some practice on Monday night with the crew that turned up for Monday night practice, and guys that are really good at road, but they couldn't seem to keep their line around the whole track. They seemed to just sort of start weaving a little bit, and if they were close to another driver that had a little bit of a weave, they'd react really quite violently, which obviously would cause a massive crash in a real race. So it's quite surprising to see some of those good drivers not be able to transition those skills to oval, because like you say, it's a totally different skill set.
I think you find when you see super speedway racing with a lot of these guys too, they'll go on their bump draft and try and push up and try and get to the win straight away rather than show some patience. It's a long time in regards to time. You have to sort of plan your race from lap 1 right through to lap 25. So it obviously didn't go the way I wanted it to, but next week.
Yeah, as always, next week. Did you have have you done much racing in the Star Mazda in Oval, or you're racing other cars in Oval?
Not necessarily in Star Mazda. Definitely done a lot of open wheel stuff in the IndyCar and that. But yeah, like Gen sticks and trucks has always been my thing. Like the NASCAR Racing Series back in 2013, ran that for the whole season. 2014, picked up the win in the Daytona 500. So yeah, oval racing's been my thing. Not quite so much in the Star Mazda. Obviously, there's not much of it, but yeah, definitely ovals where I'm more focused than anything else.
Yeah, fair enough. And what's I guess attracted you to the oval? Is it the really close racing? Is it you know, in a lot of the oval racing you don't see somebody get out in front and then you can't catch them. It's not that kind of racing. It's pretty much close the whole way around. Is that the kind of excitement that draws you to the oval racing?
I'm more a fan of with the longer races, the tactics behind it, and knowing when to pit, and knowing when to try and undercut. That's more my focus when I do some oval racing. It's the tactical side that draws me to it.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think if you've got a really good team behind you, even if you're being a spotter or a crew chief, it's a really good team event, a bit like the endurance racing when it comes into strategy, when it comes into pit stops, when it comes into fuel usage and those kinds of things. You can put a different dimension on it rather than just going full out. It's definitely a different beast.
When you more obviously we're talking Gen 6 here, but Daytona 500, when you're actually working with a teammate, knowing when to pit together and work together with someone, actually literally working properly together with another car, there's nothing better. The tactics behind that, and it's pretty fun to do that sort of stuff, and this really showed who can and can't do it.
Yeah, absolutely, and I think maybe this has won a few fans as well for oval racing from the road guys. Maybe we'll see a few of those road guys go, geez, that was a lot of fun. I might go try my hand. So hopefully get a couple more guys in the oval racing. Are we going to see you back next weekend or next week for Interlagos?
Fingers crossed I'll be back for the rest of the season. No guarantees though, with work commitments and Premier Series commitments and V8s Online commitments. So, but fingers crossed I'll be back. Hopefully to finish the season, but I'll still be around for a couple more races, definitely. Hopefully for the full season.
Yeah, that'd be great. It's great to have you on board, mate. Is there anybody you want to thank? Any shout outs you want to do?
I want to give a shout out to Trent for his hard work for getting the broadcast up. Congratulations, mate. We really love it. We've got some things working in the background that I'll luckily be able to show Trent soon. It'll be exciting for everyone.
Thanks, mate. My head wasn't big enough already. You've just made it a bit bigger. So, yeah, thanks. So, yeah, it's been definitely an interesting experience getting all this stuff. We're having a bit of an issue with streaming tonight, but I'm recording locally so that I can upload the file later onto YouTube. So, anyone who, well, you won't know because you can't see this, but yeah, yeah, we will be uploading this. So, yeah, thanks for racing and your support as well.
Oh, my pleasure. Thanks, guys. Good job.
Cheers, mate. I might actually go through the results because I haven't actually done that yet, I realised. So first place, Grant Hines, who we do have down in the commentary box, in the interview, waiting for an interview. So Grant Hines in first, Hayden Dodman third, and Gary Hamilton in third place. 0.049 seconds separated first, second, and third. So that's what, 5/100ths of a second, somewhere in there. So really tight. David Jellings up there for fourth place, good result for him. Igor Trendofilovsky in fifth, Matt Stratford in sixth, Scott Goodman in seventh, Damien Carr in eighth, Sam Sutton in ninth, and Aaron Farmer rounding out the top 10. James Bell in 11th, Andrew Osiris in 12th, Samuel Lambert in 13th, Joseph Falcamata in 14th, Troy Burgess 15th, Martin Silvassi in 16th, Ben Daly Jr. 17th, Amanda Boscher in 18th, Paul Tajavara in 19th, and Marcelo Rivera in 20th, as we touched on earlier. A little bit down, we saw him in that top 3 or 4 going into that last corner. 21st we got TJ Brown, Rodney Dangry, Simon Fiegel, Bradley Matheson, Mitchell McLeod, Riley Preston down there in 26th, so he did finish and he was on the lead lap even though he involved in that accident. Scott Newton we saw at the front as well, he's finished 27th. Dylan Francis, unfortunate result for him in 28th, Brenton O'Brien 29th, and Kurt Stenberg in 30th. Mark Rayner in 31st, Andrew Kiss, Lance Hawes, Marcus Wang, Sam McLeod, Phil Gadd, Matthew Barron we saw get mixed up in an accident that wasn't his fault. Craig Edwards as well, we saw him get into a mix-up with Scott Connors in 38th, Brock Creamer 39th, and Gary Giorgio in 40th. 41st, Jay Kennedy, who we were just speaking to, Sean Thompson in 42nd, 43rd was Scott Connors, Rob McGive at 44th, Stephen Downs, Jake Maloney, David Pegler, Sean Watts, Ian Ford, and Josh Burden in 50th. Andy Carey and Ashley Thomas 51st and 52nd. Okay, I might bring Grant up for an interview and then we'll speak to our race control guys. Grant, mate, welcome to the Slipstream Comedy Box. Did it again. Commentary Box. Congratulations on the win, mate. Really, really tight at the end there, but you were up at the front pretty much that whole race.
Yeah, thanks for that. It was a great race. I knew I had a chance there at the end with that caution, and luckily it paid off.
Did you have an idea of where you wanted to be on that last lap? In the lead, behind, or did you just sort of just hold it flat to the floor and just hope for the best?
Nah, I wanted to stay behind them. You get in front of them, you don't get the slipstream on the straight. So I knew if I stayed behind them, I had a chance to get up inside them on a long drag.
I think I actually called you. I was probably in the best position on that restart. I think you were in 4th or 5th place, and heading down that back straight, you had the draft of the 3 cars in front of you there, so you certainly had the speed. And then on the final, coming out of that final corner, the guys in front, a few of them had a bit of a touch and sent off, and that sort of opened up the door for you. And Gary and Hayden were sort of having a bit of a rub down the main straight as well, which sort of gave you the run and got you the win. So congratulations, mate.
Yeah, thanks for that.
Andrew, did you have any questions you wanted to ask Grant?
Yeah, look, I just want to relay congratulations on that. You've been putting in some pretty good results in the last couple of races, been threatening for a win for a while, and we've been keeping a close eye on you. Coming into this round, you're about 21st or so in the championship, I believe. That's going to push you right up there. We've had a couple of the major guys fall out, so it's anybody's game at this stage, so well done. Have you done many oval racing before, or is this your first?
Nah, it wasn't my first. I do a bit of half and half, mostly both of them.
So is it mainly open wheelers, or you do tin tops?
Oh, I do everything, mate. Everything I can get my hands on.
So this is your first season in this series, is that correct?
Yeah, that's my first season in SMAC, yeah.
That's great. So have you been in every round? I don't recall seeing you in the first couple of rounds.
I missed Sebring and one of the other ones. I don't have those tracks, unfortunately.
Right. So we're going to see you for the rest of the season, because I think obviously you've made your mark tonight. It's not easy to get a win in SMAC. It's such a close field and such a competitive field. So I think you've obviously made your mark tonight. So it would be really exciting to see you and how you go for the rest of the season.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure I've got the rest of the tracks for the season, so I'll definitely be here every Thursday night, gunning for a win, hopefully.
Yeah, well, we're off to Interlagos. I think we haven't been there since season 1. It's always fantastic racing. It's a great car to drive around Interlagos, so that's going to be a fantastic event. And I think, if I'm correct, Trent, we're going to be broadcasting the second split for Interlagos.
Yes, we'll be broadcasting split 2 at the Interlagos race, so it'll give some of the guys that might not be at the front in all these races a bit of a chance at getting some airtime.
Sounds good to me.
Yeah, so look, really good results, really well driven. you were in the right place at the right time. A little bit of luck on your way, but you were there to capitalise on that. And obviously you made your own luck and you stayed out of trouble, mate. So congratulations. Is there anybody you want to shout out to or thank any sponsors?
No, mate, no sponsors for me. I'm just sitting at my desk.
All right, we'll have a chat after this because we're looking for some fast drivers.
Once again, congratulations on the win there, Grant, and yeah, look forward to seeing you in future races.
Cool, thanks guys.
See you, mate. Alright, so we've got race control up here. Scott Stevens. Scott, did you, from your point of view, was it hard trying to officiate any issues and penalties and stuff like that in this round, being that it's an oval rather than a normal road racing course?
No. A lot of it was actually kind of clear cut as to who the penalty should have been issued to. So issuing the penalty side of it was pretty easy. There was actually quite a few though, to be honest. I think off the top of my head there was about 5 or 6. So I kind of didn't expect that from the start of the race, but yeah, just probably some guys not using their smarts a little bit and yeah, not giving racing room, that type of thing. So yeah.
Yeah, we probably had a few more cautions than we probably would have ideally liked, but yeah, the last one, single lap dash at the end, certainly set up a pretty exciting finish at the end there.
Well, it's a funny story because I was thinking of calling one anyway and having that last lap to the end and having it as a competition caution, but it didn't need to come out anyway. And yeah, the guys raced pretty hard to the end there, and unfortunately, some contacts and cars spinning probably ruined what could have been like a really, 5 to 6, maybe 7 car battle for the actual outright honours of the race. So we'll have to go over that after the broadcast and have a look at yeah, who was at fault and stuff like that.
Definitely true. Alright, once again, from an organiser's point of view, thanks again to you for your support in race control, and also to allow Josh and Scott to have a go in the car. Speaking of which, we've got Josh Burden in here as well, normally in race control. Josh, probably not the result you were hoping for tonight?
No, not a lot you can do when you get rear-ended under a caution, but anyway, it is what it is, and yeah, not the finish I wanted.
It's very true. Andrew, did you have any questions for Scott or Josh?
Yeah, guys, look, very busy race, race control, and obviously as a driver, not going your way. Joshua, just reading a little bit on the forums, there's been a bit of a mixed bag reaction to having an oval in the SMAC series. Obviously, it's our first, and it was a bit of a test to see how it went. A lot of the drivers obviously not having that oval skill set, and that showed a bit around the track tonight. What are your thoughts on having an oval round as part of the SMAC? As I said in the forum, it's getting a bit of a mixed bag, getting a bit of a bagging actually, but I think that's mainly because of the drivers that actually crashed out or had an incident.
Yeah, I'm very 50-50 about it, to be honest. Like, it's great fun when you're in a pack with drivers that, have raced ovals and all that before, but there's just too many drivers that haven't raced ovals and don't really know what they're doing, so to speak. So yeah, it's definitely great fun while it lasted.
Yeah, I definitely have to kind of agree with Josh kind of point there. I think there's obviously pros and cons for either side, like there is with anything. But I feel that the standard at which people were driving and had an understanding of, one, how safety cars worked, two, how to start on a restart of a safety car, things like that. There was probably like limited understanding, so that probably caught a lot of people out. Had you have gone and done the race without a safety car, would we have seen a difference? But then you could have had one guy that doesn't get cleaned up through the whole race and he just drives off and wins. So a safety car is going to breed the ability to bring the pack together and have close racing again, but it's also probably going to breed another safety car, which is realistically what we saw. You know, it was, I don't think they got, you know, 3 or 4 laps in straight without another safety car being called after a safety car had come out.
Yeah, it was more caution laps than there was actual race laps. So.
Yeah, and that was definitely a concern of ours. That I think Trent was knocking his head against the wall trying to figure out what the best way forward would be for some good racing. And yeah, look, it's a bit of hit and miss really. I mean, some people like it and some people love it. So it was good to watch when it was racing. It's good to be in when you're in the seat of the car and you're touching wheels at that close proximity with 4 or 5 drivers that you can trust. But it just takes that one small mistake and it can bring 6, 7 cars down in one stack.
Yeah, and to your point there, Andrew, is, you know, when it was racing, it was good, hard, pretty much clean racing, and it was good battles to be able to watch. But then, you know, where was the safety car started from? You know, was it back of the pack? Was it from a guy who wasn't probably really used to doing ovals and jumped in and gave it a shot kind of thing, or didn't spend the time doing the practice? And as much as they're a completely different car to drive on the road than what they are, you know, to an oval. I don't know. I guess you've got more perception of what's going on probably on a road course, because you are having to use your brakes, change gears, whereas oval you're just foot buried to the floor and probably a slight turn to the left, and that's all you're really needing to do type thing. So I think it can create really good racing. I think there is probably more positives than there are negatives out of it. And I think that's what you guys, as you know, the organisers of the series, have to really look at, is when it was running clean, what was it like to watch? And that's what people want to see. And as a driver's point of view, how was it for a driver once they've gone up and going? How was the battling? How was, you know, the actual racing involvement? And I think it would have all been on the positive side.
Yeah, we had started a spin-off series, SMAC Oval, which we did for fun last season. It's proved to be semi-popular with a lot of the guys, and we raced on even tracks for Bristol, for example. And I think I wasn't around for that race, unfortunately, but I've heard that it was quite successful and there wasn't really too many cautions, and I think that was probably down to the fact that most of the guys that were racing were probably more oval races than our regular SMAC drivers. So like you said, it's about that experience on ovals, and a lot of people just don't have it. Spatial awareness is a huge thing, especially on these super speedways where it's just pack racing. You're side by side cars for lap after lap at a time, unless there's a caution, of course. So it could be something again we'll look at moving forward. Something that would be handy, and iRacing, I hope you're listening, is the ability to put cautions on but not have them automatically triggered. So that if there's a crash with 2 or 3 cars, it's not really going to affect the field. Then you can still keep going green. But if you need to trigger one manually, it would be helpful rather than just an automatic process, so to speak. Would be, I think, beneficial option for when setting up these servers.
Yeah, that's right. That would be definitely handy. Look, it's I guess we're going to go away and have a think about if we run any more of these in the next couple of seasons, or I guess maybe we get a bit of feedback from the community. Like I said before, on the forum, there's already a bit of feedback going, but I'm pretty sure there's a few tempers flying around at the moment, a few disappointments, which will be, I guess, impacting some decisions and what people are saying. But yeah, look, bit of a mixed bag.
I'm sure the guys at the front probably say, yeah, this is awesome, let's do it again.
Yeah,
And all those guys
I'd
down the
agree with
back
that.
are going to be, yeah, no, this is horrible, let's not do that again.
The race at the front was extremely clean. Like you're basically rubbing wheels down the straight, and you can trust the guys. Except I can't say it really because I took someone out. But when we were at the front, like, I can't say how much was at the back because I don't think I was at the back for more than 2 laps. So it was actually really fun, and I really enjoyed it until obviously the last couple of laps. But it's just a shame that the people that didn't have experience, like at the back, I know, especially over the drivers chat, there was a lot of complaining and whinging going on, and I think that's just down to the experience, as you all said. So yeah.
What was it from a driver's perspective? What was the main thing on track? Was it people weaving, not holding a line, or was it for people going for gaps that weren't really there? I mean, when you're doing this kind of racing, you've really got to think probably 2 or 3 or 4 seconds ahead of what the car in front's going to do, because if they do start to come over, that gap closes really, really quickly. So what is it? What was the main issue tonight, or the main dramas that were happening on track as a driver?
I think Josh would probably get a better point of view of this, because I think he was mid-pack to back, weren't you, Josh? I think when he got taken out.
Yeah, I was about 20th when I got taken out. So yeah, it was just a lot of people not holding their line. 4 wide obviously doesn't help. I thought people would have learnt that from the driver's briefing and the extended practice or warm-up we had, but clearly not. So yeah, I think if people used a bit of common sense, all the wrecks and cautions and whatnot could have been avoided.
Well, we repeatedly saw, like Gary Hamilton, for instance, he was at the front pretty much the whole race. Grant Hines, who ended up winning, he was at the front there the whole race. Marcelo Rivera, he was up there until obviously that incident on the final corner, but a lot of the guys who were racing at the front pretty much stayed at the front. That's pretty much where they were. I don't think there was a lot of big accidents. There could have been probably bigger ones. Obviously we didn't really probably catch a lot of them on the broadcast, a little bit limited to how I can catch the action after an incident has happened, but from what we saw through the broadcast was probably no real massive like the big ones per se, except for probably right at the very end there as the cars all crossed the line, and I think it was Kurt Stenberg was stopped in the middle of the track while everyone crashed into him.
I actually got word that Kurt Stenberg's engine actually blew up out of nowhere, so that's a bit unfortunate.
Yeah, quite unusual.
So that's a bit of an RSM glitch by the sounds, which is unfortunate.
And yeah, I guess that'll probably wrap us up for this evening. So yeah, thanks everyone for their input. I have no idea what I'm going to say. I still keep saying I'm going to write a script, and I never do. So, is there any final thoughts from anybody that want to share?
Mate, well, I was really looking forward to this race, and I still think it was a good race. It was a good race to call, it's a good race to watch. But there's some valid points on the forum, and some valid points from the drivers. I think we've established that there's a massive difference between your road racing skills and your oval skills, and that really showed tonight. So maybe that's something that we need to discuss going further. But all in all, it was a good event. That's behind us now. It's going to really shuffle the leaderboard up again, which does my head in every weekend when I have to do up the points. But it's also exciting because it changes every week, which is fantastic. Off to Interlagos next week. We're going to be doing the second split, if there is a second split. Always good racing there. Can't wait. Only 5 rounds to go.
Yeah, off to Interlagos next week, as you touched on. And if we do have 2 splits there, as we've said, we will be broadcasting split 2 from that round. So hopefully, I don't think we'll get any sandbaggers, but we should see some good racing hopefully down there from split 2. It's usually quite close, just like the top split. Just watching a replay at the moment of Grant Hines coming up for the win, as we see Gary Hamilton and Hayden Dodman battling there, and quite a close finish there. It was really good race result. So on behalf of Andrew Gaines, Josh Burden, Matt Wilkins, Scott Connors and Scott Stevens, I'm Trent Thomas. You've been watching Slipstream. Tune in again next week for round 8 from Interlagos.